or?
You don't need to be rushed.
Okay, okay. So, next slide, please. So, again, to get an idea of the waterfront, so in surveying adult medicine providers, physicians, what do they see as the main barriers affecting transfer of care of young adults with special health care needs to them? You know, they're worried about, gee, if I accept care for this young adult with complex healthcare needs and I need to consult a super specialist about cerebral palsy, will I know where to refer them to or not? They're worried about, will I have sufficient time in my schedule to do a good job? They also want to make sure that there's adequate transfer of medical information and medical records. Of course, the one good thing now with the evolution of healthcare systems is integrated health records. And to the extent that children, adolescents, young adults with special healthcare needs remain within the healthcare system, the same healthcare system with an integrated electronic health record, and to the extent that they receive both their primary and specialty care, that is one thing that makes transition easier, because the adult medicine physician can, review what has gone on in the past.
Could I interrupt something?
Sure.
Because I think you went to the next slide, and I think it's a really important one. If you go back from the barriers, when they talk about families expect significant time, this was a barrier perceived by physicians, am I correct?
Right.
So if physicians are thinking, oh gosh, they're going to take too much time, is it not wise when families are scheduling to ask for a double appointment? So right there, if that's the number one reason why they're saying, gee, I don't know if I want to take on this case, but if they get a double appointment that's scheduled, I can only speak to my own situation. Pretty quickly, the adult family practice physician figured out we take time. And so we always, she's calling in, double appointment. So it's okay to ask for that, is it not?
Absolutely. I think, you want a healthcare experience that's the least frustrating for everyone. So, and part of the time you need, best. You've been taking your child, teen, young adult to physicians their whole lives. You kind of know, are they someone who, how much time does their appointment usually take? So, clock it out. The other thing to consider is to be very intentional and clear in your mind about agenda. Like, what do you want to happen at that appointment? And maybe with your new health, that's why transition in part during time of disease stability is such an important theme to remember. Is, you just want to get to know each other, number one, and you want communication and transfer of core information, key information, and you want a success experience, particularly at the beginning, where people aren't leaving upset and frustrated. So
a single appointment just for that?
Yeah. We call it a meet and greet. Sometimes the best thing to do is to have a meet and greet appointment. There's no agenda. There's no need other than that. There's no need for refills of medicines. There's no Special Olympic forms to fill out. There's nothing to be done other than let's meet each other. Let's learn a little bit about each other. And let's review some critical health history and let me tell you what it takes to be a good physician for me, or let me tell you what it takes to be a good physician for my son or daughter.
How does reimbursement work for that?
You would just code under whatever chronic condition someone has. So a meet and greet, you would just code it as, cerebral palsy, intellectual disability, whatever is accurate. But, you would code it as a chronic condition. I accept, I've, met people with autism who, the first appointment, if I can just take their pulse, if they allow me to take their pulse, that's a successful appointment. Like, the individual won't tolerate any more touching or physical exam than for me to, 10 seconds take their pulse and stay in the room for 10 minutes before they get too anxious. So, what is a successful appointment is extremely variable, but, try to set it up for success, Again, here are more concerns on the perspective of the adult medicine physician about transition. Okay. A lot of, parents in this survey, half of the parents who have a child with special health care needs are talking about transition with their pediatrician, but only a third have a plan for transition. So at the end of the presentation, there's a wonderful website I included. It's at the very end of your handout. It's called Got Transition. And so that's a great website that goes into great detail about things to think about as you're planning transition.